Hey friends, it's Allison. Welcome back to my channel and another video. Today I'm going to be making these 3 cards with the new Spellbinders Window with the View collection, but I'm going to be doing something a little different. I will be showing all 3 cards, but I'm just going to be showing little bits and pieces from each card, just little tips and tricks that I did along the way. And I'm also going to be sharing some new storage solutions that I have in my craft room. So let's jump in. So here are the windows from the new Vista View window. This is the main set, I would say, of this collection. And I have all these little pieces ready to go that I've already die cut. And these little pieces, the clouds and the sun and the kite, that's from the Up in the Air View die set. So there's several die sets in this collection, and I'll be showing almost all of them today. But first I want to show you this new storage solution. This is the Craft Stax, and this is a combo tray set right here, but there are other sets that you can get, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But these are from Spellbinders, and these are my new best friends. Now, this combo comes with 1 large set and 2 medium sets. And when I say set, I mean this right here. There's a standard size tray and then this shallow tray right here. So you'll see there's a lip. So this is a tray, or it can be used as the lid. And I'll show you how I use it as both. So you'll see that they stack, and the medium will stack on the large, and you see me shaking it. It kind of locks, but not really, not permanently. But it locks in place and is just really convenient. Now you can buy them separately. You can buy a large set or you can buy a medium set. Now you'll see here I have a stack of the mediums, and I'm just going to show you kind of how I've been using these. So you already saw at the beginning of the video how I had all my pieces for the first card we're going to be working on. And here's another one with pieces for another card that we'll be working on in this video. And then I have a tray of just some backgrounds that I have that I've been meaning to use that I made in a recent shimmer powder video. That I didn't show in the video, and here's another one that I made in that video that I also didn't show. But I like to have backgrounds laying around so that I can make cards. And this is a card that it's been on my desk for a while. Just another cute little monster card that I plan on making, and now I can store all of these in these little trays, and all the pieces won't get lost. Now here are the shallow trays, and you're going to see what I've been keeping in between 2 of these shallow trays. This is my A2 sized waffle flower grip mat, and I store it between just copy paper, and now I can store it in here, and it fits perfectly, and it won't get lost because I'm telling you I lose everything. And this is another little set of 2 little slim medium size, and I've been keeping my really delicate word die cuts in here. I used to keep these with a bunch of other stuff, and because they're delicate, they would kind of get bent or lost like everything else. And so it's just a great way to store these, and then I'll always remember that I have them and I will use them. All right, so these are the medium standard size trays, and this is a great way to store all my waffle flower brushes. Now I used to keep these in a deeper tray, and I was always digging around to find the right color. So now I can see them, they're all stored flat, and it's just an efficient way of storing everything. So here's the large one, and you'll see now I have my 6x6 grip mat stored between these 2 large shallow trays. And here in my tray, this is all the dies from the Window with the View collection and the stamp set as well. So I'm storing all that because I'm working with that right now. This is the stencil from the collection that I'll be showing in a video coming up. And so these are obviously the large trays. So look how the large trays hold the large embossing folders from Spellbinders. So those are a couple that I'm going to be using. And then these are just some products that I've bought recently that I really need to use. And so I'm storing them all in here. And I'm going to show you how I've been keeping these. So I have Alex drawer units, like a lot of people out there in craft land. These are from IKEA. And so I've been storing these in this IKEA drawer right next to where I craft. And I'm just showing you how I have room in the back for more trays. And this is my expert videography here. I'm going to slowly close the door so you can see that this closes with this big stack of trays. And I'm going to pull them out and show you how many trays are stacked up right there. So here you'll see I have 4 standard and 2 shallow medium trays all stacked, and those fit in my drawer. All right, let's get back to the card that I was making. So I have a window, and I had this scrap piece of blue paper. Now there's an easier way of cutting the back for this window. I'll show you that later, but I had this scrap of blue paper, and I didn't need it to be perfect. I didn't feel like cutting a new piece of blue paper. And so now I'm going to show you how to adhere this to the card. So I want the blue piece only to be glued to the card, but I want to make sure it's centered with the window. So I just used temporary tape to tape the blue piece to my window. And now I can glue the whole thing to the card, but really I'm only gluing that blue back piece. So now I can just take the window off, take the adhesive off. Now I'm going to put some foam tape on the back of my window, and you saw me do this a couple of videos ago. When you have foam tape that you need to form around a curve or a circle, take all the release tape off, and then you'll be able to go around those curves. All right, so now what I'm doing is I'm just adhering my pieces to the blue background. And now these little kites, they come in one piece, but they kind of have these little, I don't know, fold lines that you can cut. And so then you can have 4 different colors on your kite. So that's what I was doing right there. Now this bottom piece, it really, to me, looks like a flower box, right? But this is from the inside view looking out. So I didn't want those 2 little pieces at the bottom. I wanted this to look more like window trim. So I'm taping it to the bottom of a piece of paper. This is another little trick. And so it's even with the end of the paper. Now I can take that large piece of paper in my paper trimmer and trim that off. And I'll get a straight line on that little tiny piece. Now I could have taken a scissors and cut those 2 little pieces off, but I probably would not have done a very good job and wouldn't have gotten them very even. This is the Sending Sunshine Sentiments stamp set, and this is the stamp set from the collection, and you'll see this big, long sentiment. I want to use just the bottom part of the sentiment, so I'm going to cut it apart. And I'm sure you've seen people do this before. This particular stamp, these 2 lines are really close together. So I'm just going very slow. I kind of sped up the video, but I'm going slow and trying to keep my scissors against that top row so that I don't accidentally cut off any letters. And I successfully did it. And now you'll see me gluing it on here. I did stamp it on black with Versamark and white heat embossed it. Now you'll see I did end up putting window trim on the bottom that has those 2 little pieces. And that's because I felt like it kind of framed this little sentiment better. But you'll see why I showed this to you in a minute. I left that part in where I cut those 2 little pieces off for a reason. So there is that finished card. All right, here's the reason I showed you that before. This is the Botanical Solarium die set, but this little shelf is that piece that I just showed you how to cut before. And that's why I left that in, to show you how I got these little pieces that now look like shelves. You know, they started off as a window box frame and now they're little shelves. And I'm going to show you how I colored them to make them look like a shelf. So I have my grip mat down, and I also have one of the carrier sheets that comes with the grip mats. And I'm going to cover the top little lip of this, well, what's now a shelf, because I want that top part to kind of look like one of those floating shelves that you have on the wall where there's a lip at the top, right? So what I'm doing is I'm taking ink just along that line. And what it's doing is it's acting at that little carrier sheet. It's acting like a mask. So it's masking off that top part. And now I'm coming in with just another color brown. And I'm just trying to put most of the ink right below that line so it looks like a shadow. So it looks like that top part of this shelf has dimension. And now I'm just taking an ink dauber and going around the whole entire shelf with some brown ink. And so there you'll see they look pretty similar. So I did make 3 of those, and to adhere them, I'm going to use some foam strips, and this waffle flower foam strip set had the perfect width of foam tape for me to use. I only wanted to put on the very bottom because I had already glued down these pots of plants and flowers. And again, I didn't show you the plants and flowers because it's just basic die cutting and gluing. So that's that card, and I love that card. All right, here is another tip. I know I'm running through this pretty quick. Life has been crazy. So we're on to the 3rd card where I'm making siding for the outside of a house. And to make siding, I like to use dies. Now you could cut strips, but the reason I like to use dies is because it creates this bevel and it just creates a little bit more dimension. Now you'll see I just grabbed a die from this hot foil set. Sentiment dies are a great thing to use to make siding. So you'll see I cut out a bunch in turquoise, and then I'm going to put it on a darker color card base, and that's going to create more the dimension that I need, the look of dimension. So I'm grabbing my 6x6 grip mat, and you saw I took that out of that little craft stacks that I told you I had been storing it in. And now I have a white piece of paper behind my grip mat, or underneath my grip mat, and it's the same size as my card base. It's A2. And now I'm going to use this grip mat to line up my strips. And I'm not pushing down very hard on these strips. Like, they're gripping and they're not really going to move, but because they're not going to move, I can line them up and get my spacing right. If I tried to do this just on my craft mat, every time I went to put one down, it would just move all the other ones, or, it just is kind of tedious. And I really wanted to glue all of these at once onto my card. So now that I have them kind of lined up, I can play with the spacing now and just get happy with all the spacing and try to get it as even as possible. So now I'm coming in with some press and seal, and I'm pressing down pretty hard so that I can pull it off the grip mat. Now, one of them clung to the grip mat, that's okay. And I had a little bit of wonkiness once I picked it up with the press and seal, but it's pretty easy once it's stuck to the press and seal to just make minor adjustments to fix whatever went wonky. But again, if I had these strips on my craft mat and I tried to pick up all of these strips with press and seal, there would be so much movement, and I would have to be doing a lot of fixing and futzing around. So I have now put glue on the back of those, and instead of flipping the press and seal over, I'm just putting my card base right onto the glue. So here you'll see what it's going to look like, and I'm just pressing down, and now I can release the press and seal. And while the glue is still wet, I can make, you know, just the few minor adjustments that I needed to make. And now to get an even edge, I can use scissors, but why would I do that when I can just put it in my paper trimmer and I will just get a perfectly even set of siding for my house. All right, so here's how you make the windows, and I didn't show you this at the beginning. There's two pieces. One cuts a back piece, and if you use this with the window trim piece, that's how you get the window frame. So you use those two pieces together to get that white frame on the left. Now the white piece on the right, remember that blue piece on my first card? That blue piece was not big enough to use this die, so this white piece I'm going to ink blend with a little bit of yellow to make it look like there's lights on in the house. And then here's that little flower box piece to go on the bottom. Now I made this cute little window valance with some plaid paper, and I did that by using this scallop die. I've been using this a lot lately. And now I'm using my craft mat as a tool. I'm lining up the bottom of that valance, and now I'm going to line up my window frame again with the craft mat so that I know it's all even. And that was just an easy way for me to do that. And now I'm going to put it all onto that yellow back piece. And I think I showed you I had foam tape on the back of the window, and now I have foam tape just along the bottom of this little flower box piece. And the reason I only have it at the bottom is so now I can tuck in all the little flowers. Now the flowers come from the Botanical Solarium again, but these little pieces here I grabbed from a stash of leaves and flowers that I have pretty much whenever I do Spellbinders cards. I just wanted to fill in more greenery, so now I'm just coming in with some teeny tiny little gems to put on the centers of my flowers. And by the way, the sentiment on this card and the card with the pots and plants, those two sentiments are from the stamp market. And that reminds me, I'll have all supplies listed below or in my blog. So there'll be a link to my blog below. Here are the 3 cards. I think they're such happy cards, and I know this video was a little bit different. I was kind of focusing on just kind of the harder parts of the cards because these cards are pretty easy and a lot of it was just basic die cutting. So really I just wanted to show you what I felt was important or unique about each card. And again, I'm sorry if I flew through this video. Life has been crazy and it's snowing again. I really want to thank you for tuning in, and if you liked this video, give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.